Hi, hope you're having a great day. This is an update on the dollar Bitcoin video that I made last time. If you watched it, there's basically a very strong inverse relationship between the dollar and Bitcoin, where every time the dollar goes down, Bitcoin goes up, dollar goes up, Bitcoin down. This has to do with a lot of other factors, but we don't need to be an expert car mechanic to drive a race car. So we are going to look at what happened. My prediction was that the dollar was going to break down here. And I made this arrow. You can go back and check the video. And I said, this is going to be the peak. Dollar is going to go down. That is exactly what happened. The dollar broke down here. And Bitcoin so far has gone down as well. Again, this has to do with macroeconomic factors. But it could be a situation like this, where you see that the dollar breaks down, and then Bitcoin breaks down before finding a bottom and then going for a bull run. I think it's likely that we're here. I don't think it's likely that we're somewhere like this where we have another run. I think we're in for a long economic cycle. Bitcoin has put in a major low, and we see that in the divergence. This is a daily chart for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has found an extremely strong divergence here on the stochastic RSI, and is consolidating at this bottom. Finally, I can see this playing out a few ways, depending on how the stock market plays out. So the stock market is actually what controls, and the overall market controls Bitcoin's more granular day-to-day moves, where the cycles and the adoption curves predict the longer term future for Bitcoin. So the one situation we could have is that we enter a distribution phase now. This is kind of exaggerated, but if we don't break through this previous high on the stock market, this is a chart of the stock market, goes up here into a peak, starting to slow down, massive peak signals. We have reached a bottom here. We're at least going to have some kind of rally right now. And almost any stock you buy is probably going to go up in the midterm right now, mid to long term. We could have a distribution phase here where we go up and down and then finally break down into a bear run. Or, in my opinion, more likely, we could have a rally now up to a new peak, perhaps a less dramatic retest on this, and then off to a bull run for stocks. Finally, for Bitcoin, I see a couple of options. Either we consolidate in the stock market, the dollar keeps going down, we get some change in policy, and then we have a Bitcoin bull run, or we don't get that change, the tariffs are catastrophic, we enter some kind of recession. We would have a lower high, and I would look at the strength there and look to get out. I'll do an update video on that. And then we break down and finally capitulate and reset. And this could disrupt the Bitcoin cycles, where we basically just continue on a more natural growth like a stock, instead of these huge moves that we've seen in the past. We could have these smaller crashes and then a more steady growth over many years, and this would make sense with the change in the Federal Reserve policy as well, to be more careful, and that we see out of Powell now. So those are my two most likely scenarios. What I personally lean towards is something like this, some kind of policy change soon. Stocks have already got hit very hard, and then a consolidation into a new peak. That's what I think is going to happen. We're going to keep following these charts, especially the dollar and global liquidity, and then we will do a follow-up depending on what happens with the dollar here, because this is a pivotal moment. If the dollar keeps going and we don't get a change in policy, then most likely we will continue to consolidate or get a really long cycle and a change in the way that the Bitcoin and stock market cycles play out. If you like this video, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.